Hello and welcome to Political Bazaar. On May 23rd, the results will be out. On May 19th, various exit poll results were out. The News 18 Ipsos exit poll gave the NDA 336, the BJP 276, the Congress 46. To discuss this and more with me, especially what went right and what went wrong for both the political parties, the BJP and the Congress. With me, I have Vinayak Dalmia he's the Congress spokesperson. To his right, we have Dr. Zafar the national spokesperson for the BJP. And to my left, I have Gaurav Choudhary, the deputy executive editor of Moneycontrol. Let's turn to Vinayak Dalmia. Just tell me, in a whole, what went right and wrong for the Congress throughout this polls? Because if you are taking the exit poll figures as trends, they are not absolute numbers. The absolute numbers will only be clear on May 23rd. But going by the exit poll numbers, 46, that's 2 seats improvement from 2014.
Look, if the exit polls are correct, and that's a big if,
okay.
Then obviously there is a lot to introspect. However, okay. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, take astrologers and psephologists with a pinch of salt. Let's wait for the 23rd. They have gone wrong on multiple occasions. I'll give you a recent example of 2017 in Uttar Pradesh, where they did not predict the BJP surge. Most of them did not. They've gone wrong. If you study the history of Indian psephology or exit polls from 1998 to now, don't believe my word, look at the statistics and you see their accuracy level. It is like a lottery. It's a hit and miss. On some occasions they get it right, on some occasions they get it wrong. Firstly. Secondly, there are so many of them out there. And I don't mean any disrespect to any one particular one of them, but which one do you believe? Thirdly, and this is a topic of serious discussion, there are so many of them which are also co-owned by news channels which have a certain bias, and therefore there is a conflict of interest. Which one do you believe?
Okay, so let me frame the question in a different way. What do you think worked for the Congress this campaign season?
Look, the Congress is focused on these particular elections. Every election should be a battle of ideas between political parties. And as far as we were concerned, our principal new idea was the idea of Nyay, which is the concept of justice. The concept of justice for the remaining 20% of India's poorest, which was about 5 crore households, 25 crore individuals left. And we said we're going to give them 6,000 rupees per month per household directly to the woman of the house, 72,000 rupees a year.
So you think that Nyay actually connected?
Yes.
Dr. Zafar.
See, let me first respond to Nyay scheme. When they say that justice for poor or people or the marginalized section of the society means they have done injustice for 60 years. I mean, that is the message people are getting.
Let's not get into that.
But let me tell you, that is the message people have been receiving.
Do you think Nyay has actually worked for the Congress?
Not at all. That's what I'm saying. That people felt that they have been cheated for 60 years, and that's when they had decided to come out with a new scheme to do justice, and that was a very wrong message which has gone to people.
The opposite argument would be that Nyay is actually a response to the 5-year government that was there, but that's fine.
But I'm saying that is the perception we have, that it didn't work for them. The more they tried to populate, and that's why they had to abandon. If you see last 15-20 days, none of their spokespersons were talking about Nyay scheme, not even their party leader, the chief party chief, purely because they didn't work. In fact, the message which was coming from the people, the more they tried to populate, the message was negative message was coming from the people. But let me tell you, as far as Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned,
what worked for the BJP? Yes,
BJP was absolutely focused to people's aspiration. So there are issues. First, what we had done in last 5 years, we went to 6 crore families, 6 crore people during our interaction initiative with the people.
The manifesto creation is
manifestos, and then we created manifesto. So their aspiration was covered. People felt that yes, this party means business and they want to actually serve the people, and that's why they are taking our feedback. That is one. Secondly, during the entire process, what we have realized that the national security is a big issue, and it's a people's issue. It's not as a nation. Every single citizen wants that nation should feel comfortable and safe in someone's hand.
Okay, so the manifesto actually worked, and a general sense of safety was actually
that was promised. A big issue, and which we have been able to address.
I'll just ask, do you think the manifesto actually for the BJP, was it really a game changer for them?
No, you mean the Jumla Patra? No, it wasn't. The two things that we need to analyze in this election, now that it's over and this campaign, is one, the BJP constantly said that demonetization was a success before the campaign, and the BJP has always maintained that all the objectives, stated objectives of the demonetization have been met. If that was true, let me answer. Okay. If that was true, why is it that none of their senior leaders, whether the party president or the prime minister, never speaks about demonetization in election rallies, never said give me votes in the name of demonetization? It was a massive measure. And if it was indeed a success,
which they wanted to
no, it was a massive measure. You'll agree with me, we can debate whether it's success or failure, but you will not disagree with me, there was a massive measure, tectonic shift. If it is a tectonic shift which you're claiming is to be a success, then why are you not going back with asking for votes in its name? Number one. Number two, number two, this is the one election which has caused the biggest damage to the Election Commission of India. The Election Commission, by the way, sits today to talk on a host of issues, including the right to dissent.
We'll actually come
and
to that.
Therefore, we need to introspect on what damage is caused to the Election Commission and its reputation.
Gaurav, two things have been highlighted. One, the manifesto, and we have talked about this on Political Bazaar with our viewers. Manifesto, was it really discussed by parties? Yes, every party did put its manifesto out, but was manifestos debated to that extent? And as Vinayak was saying, Nyaya scheme.
No, Nyaya scheme was very much a part of the Congress manifesto. In fact, it was the star of the Congress manifesto, and that was something that was, a scheme of that nature, which if implemented will be of such a big scale that would probably strike a discussion, and it did. And initially, the Congress leaders actually tried to make it an electoral issue, and when every time they went out to rallies or were talking about it, Nyaya scheme was really being talked about. And if you look at the Congress media strategy also, even in the advertisements that they put out on television and radio, Nyaya clearly was the star campaign vehicle. But somewhere in the middle of the campaign, say around the fourth page or so, there was a point of inflection, and they stopped talking about it in the manner that they used to before. And was it part of a conscious strategy, or was it part of a feedback that they were receiving from the ground? Is something that only the Congress's campaign managers would be able to tell us. But one thing was absent in the BJP's campaign, was conspicuously absent, was the Ram Temple. Okay. And why the BJP did not talk about the Ram Temple is something we need to probably know. And it has been a central issue of the BJP for several years now, decades now. And in this election, neither the Prime Minister nor the party president, any of the leaders actually talked about the Ram Temple. Maybe because it's being discussed, it's being heard in the Supreme Court. Maybe that could be one reason. But they just refused to make it an electoral issue. Likewise, demonetization, and I agree with Vinayak, that demonetization remains the biggest policy shock in recent memory in India. The utility or the benefits or the impact of it is a matter of debate, and we don't intend to get in there. But in terms of the shock value, both it could be a positive shock, it could be a negative shock. There has never been, at least in the last 20 years, something of this nature. So if it was a success, then the BJP probably should have gone to town with it.
But I'll tell you one thing. The BJP, you asked them, and I think Zafar would actually agree with me. They said that after demonetization, you had UP. And there was actually the proof of that, political proof of that. The economic one is a different thing. Go ahead, sir. You are.
See, as far as demonetization is concerned, we had certain objective. That objective has been achieved. We have whatever objective in one stroke of pen the Honorable Prime Minister has been able to achieve. The people know. After that, the election was there in UP. We have won. Everyone knows that hands down. And the many political parties who actually tried to come together to challenge us, they were actually completely uprooted by the people of Uttar Pradesh. That suggests that the people were absolutely happy with the demonetization scheme. But in election time, we have spoken everything. When we submitted our report card to the people of this country, everywhere. We've submitted our report card.
But why was demonetization not given a pride of place in this campaign? Now, not many people, not many BJP leaders talked about it the way they should have. So if actually, as you're saying, the people actually gave their verdict, then it was a success. BJP
We
really
have not
did-
spoken about GST. We have not spoken about IBC. All our structural reforms which we have. This is a part of reform measures.
The opposition would say
No,
that
you
these
see-
are ones which did not go exactly the way you had thought it would go.
No,
And that's why you didn't speak
see,
about it.
we do not address the concern of the opposition parties. We address the concern of the citizen of this country. And when the citizen were happy, we did not overly get concerned about putting it in our manifesto. But let me tell you, in our report card, it has got paramount importance in our report card.
Vinayak.
Look, it is the nature of every political party to highlight their successes, however small, and to hide their failures. The fact that they did not talk about demonetization and the fact they did not talk about what's now known as a Gabbar Singh tax mean it was a failure. It was not a success. Make no mistake about it. If it was even a remote success, the Honorable Prime Minister and the party president would have gone to town with it, firstly. Secondly, now let us analyze this campaign, right? And I want to bring this back to the Election Commission, because to me, irrespective of who the victor is on 23rd of May, that is the one story of this campaign. The greatest victim in this election has been the reputation of the Election Commission. Gone are the days of tea and session, where the Election Commission was fair and
That
tough.
was what I was coming to. Just we'll roll up because of want of time. The Election Commission has, the opposition has definitely leveled a lot of charges, and EVM tampering has become an issue again. Could you just roll up both of that?
Sure. So, I mean, I'm sure your viewers are aware today, the Election Commission is sitting because one of their high-ranking officers has dissented. Now, the right to dissent and that dissent to be part of public records is a very fundamental part of the laws of the Election Commission. The Election Commission is a quasi-judicial body, make no mistake about it. It is not a pure executive administrative body. It is very similar, therefore, in rank and function, some would argue, to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has a rich history of recording dissent and minority opinion. Therefore, similarly, the Election Commission should record minority opinion. Why should constitutional bodies be shrouded in mystery and secrecy?
EVMs?
Yes, what about the EVM? Now, if you talk about
Quick,
EVMs, look at the strong rooms. There are incidences where there are CCTVs not working. There are incidences where there are parallel EVMs lying around the strong room. Does that not raise a question?
Okay, fine.
Should Caesar's wife not be above suspicion?
Fair enough.
See, when they win election, they do not crib about EVM. When they stare a defeat, certain defeat, and as predicted by all the psephologists, it is very evident from the fact that they are losing this election. The trend is very clear, the direction is very clear. So they again have come back to where we had asked them same question before the Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and December election. None of them were committed and said that there is a problem in EVM.
The Election Commission, what is your views on that?
The Election Commission is a dependent body where there is absolutely
the dissent note, what is your view on that?
Dissent note, I mean, there are 3 commissioners. Each of them have their own rights, and whether somebody is dissenting, not dissenting, whether this should be paid public or not public, I don't know exactly what is the process they need to follow.
Okay.
But all I can say, that is their internal process.
Okay.
But the majority is the one, even in various other courts, if it's the Supreme Court, majority means
But the dissent note, even in the Supreme Court, is actually recorded. Let's go for that. I'll give you the final word, Gaurav.
No, on ECI, on the dissent note, I would like to make a point. Previously, all Election Commission decisions were disclosed. And when those decisions were disclosed, what was not disclosed, whether there was a dissenting note or not. The good thing that have happened in this is that actually we come to know that there is a possibility of a dissent. So if Mr. Lavasa has dissented, in the previous instances also, there may have been instances of dissent, but in all previous occasions, we have just been, the public have only been announced
given just
that a decision has been taken. That is one. So this is the good thing out of it. On EVMs, my only point is that we need to distinguish between EVM malfunction and EVM tampering. I don't think EVM tampering is easy, but there may have been, and I think there are tens of incidents of EVM malfunction, and that's a hard-won malfunction. EVM tampering, if it is possible, then it can be made possible by every party that is in power at the center of the state.
At the center of the state. What were the strong points of both the parties? What were the weak points of the parties? The Election Commission's role, should we debate about it more? EVM tampering, is that a big issue? These issues will be discussed in the days ahead. May 23rd we'll have the results, and from there, stay tuned to Moneycontrol for more news and updates.